There's nothing like Speedway. Through all the lights and the cars, the race is on. Smell the fuel in the air. The crowd comes alive, they breathe fire. Nothing like Speedway. Nothing like Speedway. Nothing like it. Nothing like Speedway around. Nothing like Speedway around.
Young ladies out there giving it everything, and they're pretty mean throttle twisters as well.
Absolutely, they're out to give the boys hell, and that's what they're going to do now. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we've got any names for you out there in the crowd, so we'll just call it as we see it. But they're out there having fun, go around the Speedway City circuit. We've got one high up near the wall, John, trying the high line, doing the Danny Smith out there.
Should be here on Monday too, Danny Smith, we are reliably informed.
Yes. Danny Smith, one of the experts of the high line around any track he'd go to. If there's a high line and you can run it, Danny Smith will be there. So look at number 55 here. He's going full board down the main straightaway. Comes through turn one. He's got the leg out. Typical Jeff Lee Scott style. No doubt all these boys and girls out there at the moment be having a ball of fun going around the Speedway City circuit. They're coming to completion of their 2 laps, I believe. Scott McIntosh got the checker flag in his hands.
Pass, folks. As I said, a big moment for them. They should be coming out again for another run or two. But give them plenty of support as they come past. This is what we're hoping to do, to encourage the youngsters, to get them up there on the international scene, whether they choose to do it in the dirt or on the bitumen. As they exit turn number 4. Yes, we are into it. As they run down to turn number 1, Darren Disbury takes command. Jason Loveday forced to get out of it already. Car number 69 pulling onto the infield. That'd be Molyneux, I think. The Victoria 69. But it's Darren Disbury leading the way. Somebody up perilously close to the concrete, but they get on with the job now. Very fortuitous. I didn't quite pick the number, but that driver could well be changing his underpants after this one. Meanwhile, Darren Disbury keeping it down on the bottom of the track thus far and looking very good with about 6 laps remaining. In behind him, we've got car number 76. Gavin Casey, the Queenslander, who started out of position 3. In behind them, we've got the hard-charging South Australian Luke Dillon, who started out of 5 and now is immediately pressuring Casey for 2nd position. Then it's Jason Loveday in behind them. Next is car number 62 by the look of it, as they work their way down the backstretch and now into 3. Oh, problems for Darren Disbury. Or has he seen the caution lights? No, I'd say there's a definite problem for the Castrol team. Slowing up dramatically. Plenty of pressure on Casey here. The lights are out. It's a cone restart on the backstretch. They queue up behind him. Dillon all over him, and somebody else makes a big move. That may well have been the 21 car of Ken Bowie that made the big lunge there early on. Yes, it was a terrific start from Ken, who's been in pretty good form this year. Casey, meanwhile, continues to lead it. We've got Luke Dillon all over him as they come out of turn number 4 for Sprint Auto Parts and Fraser's Imports. Casey will need to keep a very economical line to hang on to this one. Look at the times, 15.49 seconds. They really are hooked up and hauling around this Speedway City circuit. Down the main straight, 3 laps remaining. It's Casey from Luke Dillon. Then we look back to the 62 entry. Next in line will be Jason Loveday. Then it's Ken Bowie, who has had a pretty good run. Started out of position number 15, thanks very much. 1 and 2 come past again with 2 laps remaining. Troy Erpeth is a New South Wales 62 car running in 3rd position. Jason Loveday still in 4th. Then it's Ken Bowie in 5th. 430 metres remaining of this track. Can Casey hang on? Not sure if Luke's game enough to take it up high. Still a little greasy up top. Erpeth still running in 3rd position from Loveday. And it's Ken Bowie, and we'll pick up the rest when they come around. The checkered flags will unfurl, and Casey will take it out. Luke Dillon for 2nd position. Erpeth gets through for 3rd. Jason Loveday 4th, Ken Bowie 5th. From Trevor Harding in 6th position. Maybe behind that Victoria 27 of Darrell Wilshire. Clark, of course, primed and ready to wave the green flag at them and go racing, and that's exactly what happens now. Into corner number 1 they go, and it's car number 5, Ken Wilshire, who looks to have grabbed the start by the scruff of the neck as he powers his way down into turn number 3. The Motorola duo chase him out of 4 and down the main chute, but the Victoria 5, the RG Suzuki, driven so well by Ken Wilshire, has got their measure at the moment. Down now to turn 3 territory. What a great photograph that would make, the two team cars running side by side as they work their way now down through corners 1 and 2. We've got the 32 car of Michael Baxter currently rounding out the top 4. In behind him, most likely one of the Hodgsons, I would think. And the 6 of Don Bowie has stopped here coming into turn number 1. Green lights are still on. So the race continuing. Now car number 2 has moved onto the infield as well. And finally the caution lights do come out for the stranded Don Bowie Autogas number 6 machine. Down the back, not quite sure the field even know they're on a start lap this time, but there's the green Wilshire blast clear. Quite a few of them would have loaded up, I would think, there. A stomach full of fuel, but Wilshire now is right onto the gas as he works his way down to 3. He now seems to either get off it or have a bit of a fuel problem himself. So down the main straight, 3 complete and 5 remaining. Car number 5, Victoria's Ken Wilshire. In behind him it's Ian Burrows in the New South Wales 018. Then we look back to Danny Hogan in the 017. In hot pursuit, it would still appear to be the number 32 car. That's Michael Baxter, the New South Welshman. Baxter up the inside and will claim 3rd position. Let's see whether Hogan can come back at him now as they work corner number 1. No, he can't do it for the moment. There's Hodgson in behind him. Then we've got car 16 and car number 10 going at it. That's Troy Anderson and Rob Bransley by the look of it. Our race leader now in traffic. Have a look at Burrows, lunges on the inside of him. Wilshire goes round the outside of the slower cars and hangs on. Well, no place for the faint at heart out there, and have a look at Burrows surging at him now. It's white flag time. Wilshire appears to have it in control, but Burrows, a likely prospect, very, very quick. And the 32 car impressing me as well, Michael Baxter. He's hard on the hammer himself, but it's going to be Ken Wilshire who takes it out. Burrows for 2nd, then Baxter, followed by Danny Hogan. We've got car number 27, Corey Hodgson, coming through. The 16 car of Troy Anderson. On, I think it was last weekend from memory. Dave Blaney was looking good for a while until he clipped the inside of the cushion and ended up in the fence. But we're into this one. And it's the 21 of Maiolo that takes command as they work through corners 1 and 2. Brett Chadwick in pretty good form himself in car number 2 as he works the backstretch. And he has put a pass on the number 3 car of Barry Worthley. Brian Chadwick sitting in behind them at the moment, rounding out the 4. And we should have the 42 car of Spriggsy rounding it out. So some pretty good racing here early on from the AmCar Nationals, and let's hope it keeps up. The numbers beginning to grow gradually as we've been promising you throughout this season. And as they come down now with 3 laps remaining, it is car number 21, Ricky Maiolo, who leads it. Cops some understeer coming out of the 2nd turn. And this will certainly allow Brett Chadwick in car number 2 to put some pressure on. He's shown he's a pretty dab hand behind the wheel, built the car himself. And in his rookie season is certainly serving it up to all comers. He's trying to get up a little bit higher on the track. The 3 of Barry Worthley still running in 3rd position. Then we look back to the 41 car of Brian Chadwick. And last but not least, it is still the 42 car of Greg Spriggs. But for Greenacres Dry Cleaning, the 21 car of Ricky Maiolo continues to show Brett Chadwick the way. Don't think it'll last for long. Chadwick goes the long way around him into turn number 3. Good driving this from both competitors as they come out of pit turn and down the main chute. Maiolo hangs on. Chadwick for 2nd position. Maybe in a few events time he might have been able to pull it off as the track begins to come in. The good drive nonetheless to Brett Chadwick in car number 2 as runner-up. In behind them, car number 3, Barry Worthley. Laps of junior sedan racing is underway. Scotty McIntosh sends him into turn number 1. We'll see what's going to eventuate here as they work their way now out of the second turn. Michael Lukey in car number 26 looking fairly good here. Rebecca Gans trying to put some pressure on as they hit corner number 3. We saw the 50cc automatics out here a little bit earlier on, but the junior sedan's really a great category for fostering our future speedway talent. Full credit to those that instigated it about 1 or 2 seasons back now. Running down into corner number 3. It's the 26 car that appears to have the goods. The Riverland 26 of Michael Lukey. Luke's Body Works, Ampol Glossop, PJ Industrial Rags, O'Halloran Hill Vet Hospital, Sign Factory Glossop, How's Your Hair, Sikorsky Mechanical. It's going through Michael's sponsors. Shannon Reddit appears to have had a bit of an excursion, speared off the track there. Heard a few ums and ahs from the small gallery that's sitting up here to my right. And somebody else has just been spun into the fence as well. Unbelievable stuff. Car number 37 appeared to be involved there. Brett Brackstone. And car number 7 now just moseying back on into the action. Orange cones out down the back chute. Caution lights appear out. I'd say we are just about ready to resume. And yes, that's exactly what happens. Great start from Michael Lukic in the Riverland 26 car. His speedy green machine powers down into turn 1 territory. Appears to have just a little too much pace for Rebecca Gans and company to this point. As we look back behind them, Wayne Phosphorus in the 52. He's got the foot in the bucket, and I can see a bit of a challenge looming here for position number 4. We've got the 7 of Travis Fisher putting an inside pass on Brett Brackstone, who is driving the 37 Simmons Garage of Lockhill car. Through comes the 88 of Ben Tuttle. And car number 25 of Hayley Tyndall cruises around corner 1 as I speak. Well, here's the pressure. It's second and third. Phosphorus in the 52 car, putting a heap of pressure on Rebecca Gans, who I think will try and keep it down on the pole line and make Wayne go with a big brave move underneath, although Rebecca does drift a little wide coming out of the second turn. Wayne moves in, Travis Fisher making up lots of time as well. It could be a very interesting duel indeed for 2, 3 and 4 as they come out of pit corner. The young lady for Gobdobla Station Caravan Park continuing to hang on here, but he's now under siege. Fisher looking for an outside pass, trying to make a hero of himself. Phosphorus down on the inside. Fisher right up, almost scraping a bit of the Speedway City paintwork off the concrete. And look at this, Fisher's going to roar straight into second position, I would think. Around he comes. What a superb drive from Travis Fisher into second. Phosphorus into third position. Rebecca Gans for fourth. Let us take nothing away from Michael Lukic. Lukey did it well. The Riverland 26 car in taking it out. Is it that? But whilst it certainly brings back a few memories for many of these drivers, they are not racing. They're out there to have some fun and see what they can do with these beautifully restored machines. So down the back they go. And it's the 21 car, ex-Gary Williams. It is looking very neat indeed as he comes out of turn 4 and down the main stretch. Car 12 not far behind. It's the ex-Alan Davidson car, driven tonight by Michael Bucks Allen. Have a look at the 42 car as well. That's the ex-Dave Germain car. It's driven by Dave Germain. Plenty of power from that thing. Of course, these cars evolved into the modern day sprint cars. Any of you would be aware of that. We've got some information on them. We'll try and pick on at least a couple of these cars. The 21 car, powered by the Holden 186, rear axle Morris J van, owned by Lena Cole. Dennis Freemeyer built this car on a low budget in 1969, and subsequently the car is not adorned with a more sophisticated level of equipment. Very, very reliable, and was a joy to drive, as evidenced during the careers of some drivers: Dennis Freemeyer, Ray Grubb and Gary Williams. Freemeyer ran the car for 2 or 3 seasons at various country tracks like Portland and Warrnambool. Then Ron Grubb brought the car in 71 and raced it for 2 seasons before Gary Williams became the owner. After this, various owners carried out engine changes and modifications to update against the competition, with little success even with the 308 Holden V8. Put out to pasture, but luckily inside a shed the car has been put into running order for us to enjoy, courtesy of a quick restoration. The car is rejuvenated too, as Gary Williams raced in the 1975-76 season. Well, out comes the South Australian Classic Speedway Association flag to indicate to these drivers that their first demo run for the night has been run and done. Get the whole shot. In fact, it's bike number 89 who appears to have made a real fist of it into turn number 1. Of course, the Series 500 International Speedway Masters Series comes to Adelaide late January. In fact, the grand final comes to the Wayville Showgrounds. It should be a spectacular meeting. I'm sure many of these riders will be hoping perhaps one day to represent their country at such a prestigious meeting. They really are great for youngsters to gather their balance and coordination aboard motorcycles, these 50cc automatics. If motocross is your thing, every single weekend you can race across South Australia and also interstate. There's plenty of meetings on. Have a look at this little rider coming down the main chute. Pretty close to the concrete, but it doesn't worry him. He's got it nailed as he works his way through 1 and 2. Perhaps just easing off a little bit now. Scotty McIntosh getting ready to wave the checkered flag. Such is the pace of our leader that the second group get it as they come past. Through they come. Having a ball they are. So please give them a bit of a cheer. Warm your hands as they come past. Bowie as well in car number 21 showed excellent pace in his opening heat. The revs come up and we should be racing as they roar past the start finishing line and into the opening turn they go. Gee, Harding's hooked up. The thing got over on the right rear. So down now into turn 3 they go. Ken Bowie's pretty well hooked up as well. In fact, he drifts up near the wall. I'd say a big problem for Ken. Meanwhile, it's WA30 Ken Satori who is out in front and looking good as he rockets down into turn number 3. Loving the very smooth track that Jeff Harris has provided. Have a look at that from Ben Dillon. He bicycled for about 50 metres up on the right rear. Somehow he brought it down. Unbelievable stuff from Dillon. I thought he was gone for all money, but he managed to save it. Brilliant stuff. Anyway, Ken Satori's out in front. Trevor Harding in behind him. Then we look back to Erpeth, the New South Wales 62 car. Beyond that, we can see the 017 beginning to make a little bit of ground up. So through they go. Car number 69, Graham Molyneux's in some trouble here as Darrell Wilshire in 27 has a go at him down into the third corner. No quarter asked and no quarter given. They continue to run side by side. Into the opening turn they go. Ken Bowie still circulating very slowly up top. Now Darrell Wilshire does hang on in that position. Ken Satori doing well. Trevor Harding in behind him. Pryor being put a lap down, so he's still having problems. Erpeth runs in third. Darrell Wilshire in fourth position. Graham Molyneux in fifth. Then we look back to the 017 of Hogan, I think it is. Yes, Danny Hogan in 017. Next it'd have to be either Seeley or the number 49 entry. Involved in quite a dogfight, but the checkered flags have already been waved. The WA30 of Ken Satori has taken it out in emphatic fashion. That is a beautiful piece of driving Trevor Harding, the Australian champ, for second. Roy Opeth for third. In behind him, Darryl Wilshire in car number 27. Our starter getting ready to ignite them into action. And yep, we are into it. It's a Victoria 5 of Ken Wilshire, who very quickly gets to the front. Ian Burrows, the New South Welshman, doing everything he can to grab second spot. Oh, look at that. High, wide and handsome from Burrows, but it's the 32 car that gets back at him. Michael Baxter, the New South Welshman. Lieutenant Rob Ransley, he's there in fourth position. But we'd expect a big challenge to come from Queensland 76, Gavin Casey. Oh, Ransley's out of the picture as he heads onto the infield. Car number 16, Troy Anderson, now has moved into fourth position. Looks as though the 81 of Luke Dillon beginning to make some inroads as well. He's now in fifth position. And beginning to attack Troy Anderson in the Victoria 16. Dillon takes him on the inside. Anderson tries to come back at him, but he can't do it. The Sprint Auto Parts speedy pilot now has fourth position. Someone's gone straight into the fence. Turns 3 and 4 is where it happened. Something appeared to break in the steering. And sadly, that driver ploughed into the concrete. Lee, haven't we? I mean, you mentioned that one from Ben Dillon. They don't come any bigger than that as they come around out of the fourth turn and get ready to resume this. We've got 5 to go. It's Ken Wilshire aiming for the Super Challenge tonight, who is out in front. Car number 32 in second position. Michael Baxter, the New South Welshman. Then we've got Ian Burrows hunting him down as they exit the fourth corner. Next is Troy Anderson in the Victoria 16. Then it's Luke Dillon in car number 81. Next is Gavin Casey by the look of it in the Queensland 76 car. Dillon now putting some pressure on Anderson. Down the main chute they travel. And for Sprint Auto Parts, Luke Dillon has picked up one position. He is now into fourth. Up ahead of him still Ian Burrows, the New South Wales 018 car. Up ahead of them, the 32 of Michael Baxter, but Ken Wilshire at car number 5. The class of the field here so far this evening. Luke Dillon now to the inside of Burrows, and I think he's made that pass stick. Yes, he has. He attacks the 32 car. Burrows will try and go high. Darren Disbury rolling almost to a stop down the main chute. We got the 32 going one way, the 81 another. It's Baxter versus Dillon down the backstretch. Into turn 3. He goes for the big lunge, does Luke Dillon, and he makes it into second. A great pass in the final 2 corners. Ken Wilshire drives it beautifully into victory lane, but a sensational drive from Luke Dillon to get second position provisionally from Michael Baxter. Ian Burrows into fourth position. Maybe Casey fifth. Sixth place possibly Anderson. 9 Neil Wesley from 11. SA8 Andrew Clayton from 12. 128 Steve Heinrich from 13, 130 Anthony Gibbs from 14, and 68 Sean Connolly, rear of field. The lights are out, the green has now come on, and we are racing. Balotz and Jenkinson going at it through corners 1 and 2. We should see some very quick times from these drivers. The track really is starting to come in. Jenkinson took out his first feature race a few weeks back here at Speedway City, mixing it up with Finlay, Balotz and company. Admittedly, I think he did start from the front row, but there was 1 or 2 restarts and he certainly did have to earn it. Down into corner number 3. Fuddy makes a bit of a move. His Commodore moves through into second position. But it's the Falcon for Welland Crash Repairs. The Monkey, Justin Jenkinson. He's showing him a clean pair of wheels at the moment. Darren Flapman continues to run in second position. We've got Maris Balotz and Brian Finlay. They're disputing third position at the moment. Somebody's up into the wall. It looks as though it's car number 49, Neil Wesley. His Orange Falcon not looking too happy, nestled in amongst the concrete, coming out of turn number 4. Tucked in behind him, the 52 car of Garth Raymond. Orange cone restart down the back, and the Falcon reigns supreme on the restart. Justin Jenkinson really has made a beautiful fist of that restart. Down the main chute, couple of Commodores going at it. The Monkey doesn't care what the Commodores are up to. He's got his favourite old Henry product out there and looking good at the moment. Leading by about 4 or 5 car lengths over Darren Flatman. Maris Veloz in behind him in third. Then we've got Brian Finlay. His Falcon looking pretty good in 4th position. Then it's back to Brian Chadwick in car number 41. From Peter Taylor, the 8 of Alan Domain, the 88 of Domain I should say, and the 8 of Clayton coming together out of turn 2. And now that may allow the 130 of Anthony Gibbs to make up some ground. Gibbs looking for an outside pass on Clayton, but was denied at the last moment. Finlay and Veloz locking horns as well as they exit the second turn. I'd reckon all of these drivers will be absolutely loving this racy surface that Jeff Harris, our curator, has provided. None more so than the Monkey, 19.98 seconds from Justin Jenkinson. Darren Flatman for Salisbury Dismantlers gets a bit untidy out of 2, just kisses the concrete. Luckily for him, he's only lost a couple of positions. A couple of car lengths, I should say, because he hasn't dropped any positions. Signcraft and Salisbury Dismantlers supporting Darren Flatman. Just trying to get the perfect line through corners 1 and 2. If you haven't been out to Speedway for a while, it'll be worth noting that these cars can run in either direction. Competitors aren't told until they do drive out onto the track itself. The Monkey with 5 remaining out in front, but did seem to lose a little bit of composure there over the last lap. Flatman himself snakes a little bit exiting the second corner. Brian Finlay perhaps beginning to make up some ground. Maris Veloz and Brian Chadwick still going at it. Beyond that, we've got Anthony Gibbs driving 130. Behind his Falcon, Peter Taylor in car number 90. And Andrew Clayton in 8. The 128 of Steve Heinrich. We've got the 52 car, the Cortina, about to be put a lap down by 2nd and 3rd. That's driven by Garth Raymond this evening. So Finlay surging on strongly here. I didn't see it whilst I was taking you back through the field. Flatman's been dropped back to 3rd. Must confess, didn't quite pick it. So it's the Falcons here, 1 and 2. Brian Finlay switching from the Sigma that he has run so successfully for a number of seasons. The Falcons certainly appear to be dominating this opening heat race. Still a long way to go. This event proudly supported by All Transport Crash. Well, problems there for our leader, the Monkey. Justin Jenkinson has moved onto the infield. He's out of commission. No tough luck for him, but Brian Finlay doesn't care how he gets him, but he'll take the win, that's for sure. As he comes out of turn number 4, down the main chute, Brian Finlay victorious for Main North Crash and Salisbury Wreckers. Darren Flatman for 2nd, Brian Chadwick 3rd, Maris Veloz 4th. Anthony Gibbs 5th position, 6th Andrew Clayton, 7th goes to the 128 of Steve Heinrich. From Peter Taylor, Alan Domain, then car number 68, which was Sean Connolly. Countrymen over the coming weeks. We're underway. Division 2 of the street stocks power their way through the first couple of corners. Event number 11 on the program. Down the back they travel, the Hayesmobile. Appears to have begun brilliantly as our driver exits turn 4. The thing just leaning over on the right rear a little bit. Try and pick up the rest of the drivers as they work their way out of the second corner. Bob Adams in car number 3 appears to be tucked into second position as I speak. Darryl Sloan's in there in car number 16. Number 42 entry of Callan Worthley started out of 7. Already has made some inroads because he's there in 4th. 5th place, the 84 car of Craig Shrubsole. Try and pick up the rest of the field for you. Car number 98 a little bit sideways down the back. And Chris Windsor, who started from the rear in car 6, gobbled him up beautifully on the outside. But here we go through 1 and 2. Adams has managed to make it through. Paul Hayes has been hung out to dry up high. Worthley tries to slide his way through. into third place. And that is exactly what happens. So good driving there from Callan Worthley. Had a slight opportunity and made the most of it. The 84 car, driven by Shrub Soul. On the infield there, coming out of 4, but now he's back into the contest. Oh, here's the action down the back. Car 16. Now facing in the wrong direction. That's Darryl Sloan. And the caution lights have come out. So after a huge night of Winged Warriors strutting their stuff around this track. There's the green, and we're back into it here with car number 3, Bob Adams, showing how it should be done just for the moment. We've got the 16 car sitting in behind him with Darryl Sloan. Oh, look out, somebody all sideways down the back. Looks to have been the 119, the Hayesmobile. And now they're all charging. Oh, he's sideways again. Every which way but straight. Here goes car number 6. That's Chris Windsor. And it's on out in the lead. We've got car number 3. Bob Adams doing his best to stave off this Darryl Sloan challenge. There is exactly 6 laps remaining for Waterloo Auto Wreckers. Adams continues to lead the way. Through comes Chris Windsor. Car 9, Matt Cummins in behind him. Craig Shrubsole in car number 84. Then it's the Hayes car. And we look back to the number 98 of Lionel Pearce, followed by Callan Worthley in 42. Looks as though the officials deem that Worthley did make contact. Well, I think it was Darryl Sloan's car going down the back chute, and they sent him to the rear of field. Around come our leaders out of the 4th turn. It's Adams with 4 laps remaining. Darryl Sloan sits in behind him. Next is still Chris Windsor holding down 3rd, then Shrubsole in 4th position. Paul Hayes now up to 5th, followed by Matt Cummins in 6th place. Callan Worthley's in there somewhere in car number 42. 98 of Lionel Pearce. 19 car of Darryl Forbes. We've got car 26 of Gary Matthews now pulling onto the infield. So the racing continues here. When they come around and pass the start finishing line, they'll have exactly 2 laps remaining. Can Adams hang on? That's the big question here. Sloan just following him through. Both drivers staying down on the pole line at the moment. This event proudly brought to you by PPG Auto Refinish. Available at Care Distributors, 495 Grand Junction Road, Wingfield, or through Hamilton Holden on Brighton Road at Somerton Park. White flag's out. Now Sloan chances his arm up the inside here. Adams disputes that pole line. Could end in tears for one of them, but it's Adams who emerges and has a lot more momentum on his side. Oh, he's timing his run, hoping to go for the jugular, but he couldn't quite do it. And here's the checkered flag. Car number 3, Bob Adams will take it out. Darryl Sloan finishes provisionally in 2nd place. 3rd should go to car number 6, Chris Windsor. They were followed in by Craig Shrubsole, Callan Worthley in 42. The 119 of Paul Hayes, the 98 of Lionel Pearce.
We've also got quite a few country tracks. We've got Lee Creek, Port Augusta, Port Pirie, Port Lincoln, Mount Gambier. So we've scattered all around South Australia.
So it's really a sport where the whole family can be involved and have a good time away, and maybe just go away for a holiday and involve some racing. Look at the older generation up here trying to see who can stay on the bike the longest without going too far. Looks like Kerry Lee will show the boys up here, but we'll see how they go. But as I mentioned, real family sport, you'd say, Gary?
Yes, it is. It's a very good family sport. You'll find that kids of all ages, ranging from 4 years up to, I won't call them kids, there's some quite old fellas riding, about 45, 50 years old, so anyone can have a go at it.
And of course they can get in contact, just look up in the yellow page or the white pages, any clubs, and they'll have the secretaries there, or see yourself down behind the canteen later on this evening.
But looks as though the 52 car has also made an excellent start. Wayne Fosterus in the Whyalla 52 car, on fire here early on. He'd be pretty savage about what happened to him in the opening heat. And he'd be trying to rectify that now. So it's the Whyalla 52. Phosphorus showing the way at the moment. Runs a little high coming out of the second turn. And now it looks as though the lean, mean green machine has hit the number 1 spot. We saw that green car performing brilliantly, and its driver, Michael Lukey, did a fantastic job early on. Travis Fisher, he's still knocking on their doors from position 3. And the rest of the field now sorting themselves out. But it's all Riverland 26 of Michael Lukey at the moment, showing them exactly how it should be done around this circuit. 21.67 seconds. They're getting the revs up fairly well now. Wayne Foster is still there in second position. And we look back to the 7 of Travis Fisher. Our 4th place driver just got very, very untidy coming out of the second turn. And that's car number 37, Brett Brackstone. 21.52 seconds for our race leader. Through comes our 4th place getter at the moment. Next through should be Rebecca Gans in car number 13. Then car number 25, Hayley Tyndall. Then Shannon Reddit. The 88 of Ben Tuttle. And car number 83 just being put a lap down as the white flag comes out. That's Matthew Raymond. And our leader's really going at it here. Wayne Phosphorus definitely wants to take out the win, but Michael Lukic in very good form. His green car appears as though it could well be the Heat 2 winning green car as he accelerates down the main chute. There's the checkered flag. Good drive once again from Michael Lukic. Wayne Phosphorus in behind him from Travis Fisher. Then we look back to the 37 of Brett Brackstone, I should say. He rounds out the 4. In behind him into 5th position, Rebecca Gans in car number 13. Followed by the 25 of Hayley Tyndall. And coming around now for GTR Mechanical Repairs will be the 16 car of Shannon Reddit. 97 car, the Super Modified X Peter Denton. Powered by the small block Chev. Denton homemade quick change rear axle. 4 twin choke side draft carbs. Body type fiberglass cut down DA Dodge body. Owned by Peter Denton. The car was built in 1977 using a frame from Zeke Agars. Engineered his own home quick change differential and induction system. Originally fitted with a 327 Corvette motor. The car was originally driven by Peter Denton, but in 1970 Doug Sundstrom became the owner. In Peter Denton's hands, the car achieved considerable success in the Northern Territory Stock Car Championship, various events at Super Modified races at Rowley Park, in fact 67, 68, 30 lap champ at Rowley Park, and various other achievements at Rowley Park and Murray Bridge as well. They're turning some respectable lap times as well. If you didn't see them in the first run, I'm sure you'd agree with me as they come through. Just looking for some info on car number 42. There it is, ex-Dave Germain car. It's got the 360 Chrysler on board. You can hear its different note too as he comes past. The flag's about to wave. It's got the biggest top wing of the lot too. Tubular frames owned by David Germain. 1 Brian from 2 Ricky Mayolo, 3 Barry Worthley, 4 Greg Spriggs at the back. That's how it looks. The green cloth on the stick being waved furiously from our Clark, of course. And it's the brothers Chadwick sizing one another up through turns 1 and 2. And it's Brett who gets the upper hand for the moment as they enter turn number 3. He's staying down on the bottom. Brian negotiating a mid-track line. Just watching the tail end of his brother's car at the moment. Now we're moving in for a slice of the action would appear to be Mayolo. First up heat winner in the SA21 car. He has a go up the inside of Brian Chadwick. I think he's going to make the pass stick too. Brian up near the wall. And Ricky Mayolo does hang on for Greenacres Dry Cleaning in second position. So Brett Chadwick doing it in fine style for the moment, drifting out fairly wide down the straights and then apexing the turns. Comes around in 17.87 seconds. Now only about 1.5 laps remaining for the 31-year-old manager mechanic. In his first year of racing, as I said, proudly sponsored by Profix, Advanced Auto Salvage, Wins, Wasp, ACL, that couldn't do his press release, Blair Atmole Auto Parts. So that's a misprint. His pit crew is Nina Chadwick and Don Fuss. Let's see who else we've got a bit of a spiel on here. Got some info on Stephen Prowse, but not here running this evening as the checkered flag falls for Brett Chadwick. 1 minute 30.45. Really a comprehensive winner on that occasion. Heat 5 now underway. Into corner number 1 they travel. The Victoria 27 of Darryl Wilshire has begun brilliantly. It's like the charge of the Light Brigade as they run 2 and 3 abreast into corner number 3. The Flying Formula 500's putting on a great display. Here goes Pryor. Tony Pryor in the Australia 2 entry. Rips around the outside. We've had somebody go upside down in corner 1. Only a very gentle rollover, thankfully, because the speeds have been very quick here this evening. Looks as though Ben Dillon has been involved there as well in the SA1 car. He's qualifying Heat 5, take 2. Tony Pryor once again launches into the lead. We'll watch this field anxiously because it's a very tacky track. We've been talking about it, but Pryor finally getting it all together. And he really is gassing the thing around the track. Hit a little bit of a groove. Broke the right rear loose. 15.09 seconds. 15.09 from Tony Pryor. 15.99, I think, is the 1 lap individual track record. 15.12. Well, he really is blitzing here as he works his way out of the second corner. One driver heading for the infield, that's car number 22. He'll take no further part in it. Our leader comes through, absolutely flying. Roy Opeth in second position. Ken Wilsh has already worked his way up to 4th position. Darryl in the 27 Victorian entry could well be there. Behind him, and hang on, what's happened here? Opeth appears to have taken over. Darryl Wilsh is in there. And the caution lights have come on. One car stranded there just inside the concrete in turn number 3.
For him, as we look get set for green with as they go green yet again.
Thank you, Lee. Look at this, Ken Wilshire very quickly onto the rear nerve of Darryl in the 27 car, and chasing them valiantly is Danny Hogan in the New South Wales 017. These 4 appear streets ahead of the rest. Ken now to the inside of Darryl in turn 3. Darryl fights back at him, powers his way around the outside of him. The tyre power entry hangs on in second. They're trying to prevent Ken from the Super Challenge this evening. Roy Opeth in the New South Wales 62 car started from the pole, and he continues to steer it out in front. 15.46 seconds for him. Now we've got the Victoria 27 of Darryl Wilshire. He's had his wake-up call from Ken, and now he's trying to go on with the job here with Roy up ahead of him. The lap flag out to car number 19, Victoria's Gary Bruce. He holds his line down on the bottom. The rest of the field, in fact the first 4 I should say, work their way around him comfortably. Danny Hogan in the New South Wales 017 there in 4th position. It's white flag time, 430 metres remaining. The New South Wales 62 of Roy Opeth looks as though he is going to take this out, barring anything unfortunate, through the final couple of corners. Here's the checkered flag. Opeth takes it out in the New South Wales 62 car for Adventure Plastics. Darryl Wilshire from Ken Wilshire, then Danny Hogan. Then we look back to car number 16. And the rest of the field coming through. Really a battle of attrition there, about a half a dozen competitors failing to make the distance. And we'll be hoping to light up the right rear in a second as we get ready to go green. Gets it going pretty well. Also Casey steamrolls his way up the inside in car number 76. The Queenslander making a real flyer of a start. Around 3 and 4 they come for the first time at race speed, and it's Luke Dillon shooting for his first victory. We've got car number 30, Ken Satori, tucked in behind him. Satori travelled very quickly indeed in the previous heat. Around turn number 4 they come once again. Luke Dillon out in front. 15.05. Casey's there in third. Harding's there in fourth. And we look back to the 27 car of Corey Hodgson. Rest of the field working their way around the track, but Luke Dillon absolutely wringing the neck of it. 14.92. 14.92 seconds. A blistering lap time aboard this Formula 500. This Rotax performing a dance of his own at the moment as he works his way down the main chute. 15.18. Satori in behind him, then Casey, then Harding, then Hodgson. And the rest of the field as they work their way around. Very shortly our leaders will be encountering lap traffic. 15.02. Well, this 8-lap track record, we saw that it was lowered by about 4 seconds earlier on this evening. It could get lowered yet again. This young South Australian Tyro driving a beautifully clean race through on the inside of one of the slower cars. Satori and Casey go with him. Now switches to the outside, a bit of a moment there for him, but everything's okay with the white flag out. 15.25 seconds. Satori in behind him, then Gavin Casey. The rest of them squirting through. But here's the checkered flag. What a tremendous drive. Won't quite be a record, I don't think. 2 minutes 1.16. Just over half a second outside the mark that we saw a little bit earlier on. What a fine drive. Primed and ready for the green light, and that's exactly what we get. Keep an eye out for you and see just exactly who is going to lead them down the back chute for the first time. Looks as though Gibbs has made a fair start. Connolly under plenty of duress here. All drivers trying to find a clean path through. Gee, Brian Chadwick seemed to hook a bit of a rut there, and the car turned right on him quite violently. He's still there holding down position number 5 in this field. Brian Finlay in behind him, first up heat winner in 6th position. Rest of the field filing their way past, but out in front it is Anthony Gibbs in 130. Then it's the 68 of Sean Connolly. Under plenty of pressure here at the moment as they cruise out of the second turn. The 8 car, the Commodore of Andrew Clayton, holding on in 4th position, but Brian Chadwick now really beginning to size him up. There's the 68 of Sean Connolly. He's now been dropped back to 3rd position. Andrew Clayton in car 8 gets a bit of a run at Sean Connolly down the back. They're still very close. Brian Chadwick sitting right in behind them. Out of turn 4 they come again, but nothing changes just for the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 exactly the same. Except Brian Finlay and his Falcon has now moved in to challenge these drivers. Somebody sideways down the back. It's the 68 of Connolly. Both Clayton and Chadwick have roared past him. I wonder whether he's got a right rear tyre going away, because the thing certainly is getting very loose on what is a fairly tractable surface. Just back to our race leader. He's certainly doing it beautifully. Car 130 for Loxton Auto Wreckers. It's Anthony Gibbs, started out at 2, and it appears as though he is going to motor his way into victory lane, so to speak. 19.94 seconds last time around. We've still got our 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th place getters in fairly close proximity as they gas it past the line. First of them is Steve Heinrich in car 128. And we've got Andrew Clayton in car 8 for Cross Keys Crash. Then it's Brian Chadwick in 41 and Brian Finlay in car number 36. Oh, look out. Somebody spun coming out of 4. Our 2nd place getter, Steve Heinrich, very nearly collected him. And we've still got the 68 of Connolly fishtailing his way around the track. Maris Veloch trying to put a pass on him. Moves up high, and have a look at this for great racing. Chadwick and Finlay pounce underneath Andrew Clayton in 3. The pair of them trying to get past him. Clayton trying to fight back. Neck and neck now with Brian Finlay as they approach 1. Brian takes him fairly high. We'll be hoping to bog Clayton's Commodore down. Appears to have achieved that momentarily. Heinrich still ahead of them, and so is Brian Chadwick for that matter. Our race leader Anthony Gibbs, he's got the Falcon percolating magnificently at the moment. Car 130 out by almost 1/4 of a lap over Heinrich, Chadwick, Finlay, Clayton. They're pretty much your major players as the white flag comes out now for Gibbs. We'll see what Finlay and Chadwick can do. Finlay down on the bottom. Chadwick went very high and gave up his position effectively to Brian Finlay. The checkered flag being readied. What an excellent drive by Anthony Gibbs in car 130. He's taken it out second position. We'll go to the 128 of Heinrich over Brian Finlay for third. Brian Chadwick fourth. Andy Clayton for fifth. Peter Taylor in behind them. Garth Raymond, Sean Connolly. And coming around now should be Alan Domain. And the 49 car spot, Bob Adams trying to move through the pack. Also Callan Worthley in there somewhere, driving the number 42 car. Was progressing well until a little indiscretion sent him to the rear in the opening heat, you may recall. A couple of panels just coming together there as these drivers jostle and duke for positions. Now down the back, Adams pretty well placed for a big lunge at Windsor into 3. Has a crack at it. Drifts a little high, gets sideways coming out of 4. And that will enable Windsor to get back into the numero uno spot. He's Cortina. Sideways, he heads to the infield. Adams continues on. Green lights are still out as Callan Worthley gets to the front of this pack. So the yellow Cortina gets back into the action. Somebody else all out of shape coming out of 4. I think it's Pierce. Driving 98. Yes, it is. So Callan Worthley out in front, doing it well. His Commodore in good shape as we pick up the rest of the field. We can see that Adams is definitely back there in about 4th position. I'll grab positions 2 and 3 for you as they come past the line. We've got the number 9 car of Matt Cummins. Cummins holding on in 2nd place, and car number 16, Darryl Sloan, rounding out to top 3. Raymond Headley in there somewhere, driving car number 53 by the look of it, back in about 5th or 6th position as Callan Worthley comes past again. There's Headley battling it out with the 119 of Paul Hayes. And some of the back markers just make their way past the strike. Well, our leader there got it all untidy and very nearly wedged his Commodore into the pit gate. That'll give Sloan and also the 9 car of Matt Cummins some hope, and it looks as though the 9 of Cummins has spun coming out of the 2nd corner. A little bit of extra moisture down on the pole line, caught him off guard. So our 2nd place getter's charge continues here. Callan Worthley out in front. But it's the 16 car, Darryl Sloan, who has been putting in the big ones. He's running just a little bit higher on the racetrack. Does seem to be just a couple of small grooves forming right on the bottom of the track. Through comes Callan Worthley once again, now with 4 laps remaining. Sloan in behind him, then it's Bob Adams in car number 3. Paul Hayes rounding up the top 4, Raymond Headley in position number 5. And it's Lionel Pierce, and he's just been dropped back 1 position. Gap between 1 and 2 is remaining pretty constant. Still around about 5 to 6 car lengths between them. Couple of drivers heading for the infield. Gee, look out! Almost some real carnage coming out of turn 4. Matt Cummins there, and also the 84 of Craig Shropsole. Not actually involved in the coming together. Separate incidents, but both very nearly collided coming out of the 4th corner. Just Just detected somebody's car sounding very sick indeed. So the white flag will be coming out roundabout now for Callan Worthley, who may well have gone to sleep. Sloan comes up behind him, looks for an inside pass, but he can't do it. Our leader may well hang on from here because he's extended the gap to about 5 or 6 car lengths. The checkered flag's about to fall. He very nearly turns it around, coming through 3 and 4. He will fortuitously hang on. Callan Worthley takes it out in car 42. The 16 of Darryl Sloan finishes in 2nd position. Looks as though Bob Adams has already come through in 3rd, Raymond Headley in 4th, Paul Hayes there in about 5th place. Shrubsoul, I think, was down a lap or 2. There's Lionel Pearce in car number 98. The 6 of Chris Windsor.
Hodgson pulls it to a stop. Unfortunately, the clutch basket came dislodged from the motor. Therefore, no drive for Team Klotz. But we
Our starter says, let's go racing. And round number 1 is underway. Who's going to claim the first corner? Oh, Welsh has turned it around in front of the pack. Somebody else has flipped. I think it's Loveday who's gone upside down in 1. Somebody else appears to have flipped, but landed back on their wheels proper. And a frenetic start to this one. Round 1 of the Tucker Time King of Wings series.
win the night for Jason for John Loveday Transport. He's out of the car, he's all right now. And we've also got the Victorian 43 car getting pushed to the infield. He's missing a tail, but he looks to be A-OK in the car.
Well, caution lights now on, and of course there will be plenty of thinking and plenty of frantic action going on here.
John down here with Jason Loveday. Jason, not quite the start of the final you're looking for.
No, not really, but that's racing, so Dad and all the crew will work hard tonight, and hopefully we'll be back there at Mowbray tomorrow night.
Thanks, Jason. Also with me is Corey Hodgson from Team Klotz, South Australia 27. Corey, you didn't even make the start there.
No, we snapped the shaft in the gearbox, so lost the clutch pack and everything.
Around they come. Smoke beginning to clear. Loud pedal goes down and we are away. Roy Erpeth in car number 62 will claim the first corner. Luke Dillon looks for a big outside run here early on. Down into corner number 3 they travel. Erpeth gets a little bit loose in 3. I think Dillon will have him down the main chute, and he does. Well, a blistering start. So it's Luke Dillon on this billiard table-like smooth surface. Down into 3. Looking the goods here at the moment. They're going to have to get right on the gas if they want to catch him. But a heck of a long way to go. Someone very high there and close to the concrete. Looks as though it was Anthony Chitty in 24. But he's just outside the top 10 at the moment. And it's all Luke Dillon at the moment. Somebody's gone into a fence. They've backed it in after bicycling. I'm not 100% on who it was. May have been the Oz 1, Trevor Harding, we think. That could have certainly been a heck of a lot worse. Lucky that he made contact with the concrete the way he did, because it was looking pretty ominous. Well, maybe it's a couple of these competitors not quite judging the hookiness of this surface after the track grade. A little too hooked up. Cross down to the gas man as soon as we physically can. for an update, but you just about bet your house on the fact that he won't restart.
Get out of the car, but we had a look over the car and it looks all okay. So barring the wing damage, it doesn't look too bad. He's going to start it and see if it goes around. Going to see what it's like. So
that's unbelievable.
See if the Australian one can do it from the back.
Oh, I can't believe that. Well, it's made a mockery of my statement, but there you go. We saw some of his antics here about 12 months ago, pulling wheel stands and the likes, but there'd have to be some handling problems after that, surely. Surely some of the running gear is going to have to be bent. He's backed it in. And who gas it around about now, and they chase him. Roy Peth and company. Out of 4 they come and down the main chute. There's Gavin Casey running in 3rd position. Behind them it should be Ken Sartori, I would think, rounding out the top 4, and that thing's got plenty of legs down the back chute as he hones in on Casey and Roy Peth. Here comes Luke Dillon in the Sprint Auto parts machine, and he's stretching the gap. He's out now by around about 30 to 40 metres. Here's the challenge for 2nd. Peth's been dropped back. Casey's gone through, and Sartori, familiar name over there in WA. Of course, the Sartori name in the sprint car ranks. It's been a name that's been used for many, many years. He's been in the formulas, as I mentioned, for 7 years himself. Oh, he slowed down. I think there's a problem for Sartori. He's up near the concrete, and his race appears to be run. That's bad luck for the sand groper. Around comes our leader. Did you have a look at that? 14.78 seconds from Luke Dillon a moment ago. 14.78. Start time once again as the South Australian guns it into turn number 3. Well, if it wasn't for these stoppages, he'd be well off into the distance by now. Gavin Casey stuck in there behind him. That's Roy Peth in 3rd position. Beyond that, quite a few campaigners that have certainly been moving up by virtue of the attrition rate. We can see that Darryl Wilshire is one of the first to emerge. Anthony Chitty should be in there somewhere as well in car number 24. But Luke Dillon, if it goes now down to the wire and nothing unfortunate hits the team, it looks as though he's certainly going to grab top points here. Already the lead is out to what is bordering on 1/4 of a lap as he continues to light this track up. 14.92 again. There's Casey, Peth, Darryl Wilshire. Here come some of the back markers, but as we look now, there is a challenge on in turn number 3. Looks as though it's Harding who's picked up one position. The wing's a little crumpled. Really got to take your hat off for him. He's just gone past the 32 car of Michael Baxter, who hasn't fared too well in this A final so far. Now 5 laps to go for Luke Dillon in complete control. Very, very smooth. Of course, the name synonymous with Speedway here in South Australia, the Dillon name. Oh, somebody's flip coming out of 2. Well, the red light comes out again. We'll try and ascertain exactly who it was. I know that the 44 car was travelling at the back of the field. Mike Hayes, powered by the Kawasaki 500.
Car doesn't look the best. There's bits hanging out left, right and centre. Unfortunately, the night is over for Michael. I'd suggest the weekend as well.
Thank you, Lee. So let's have a look at it. Luke Dillon. That's Danny Hogan in the New South Wales 017. So can the 17-year-old hang on? That's the big question. And that familiar number 81. Residing in Blackwood here in Adelaide. A contractor who's spent a couple of years in Formula 500s. And a season in the speed car ranks as well. He gets ready now on what he hopes is only a 5-lap journey to the checkered flag. Down the main straight they go. Can they catch him? That's the big question. miracle in this feature race is definitely how Harding has been able to resume and still run at a very quick pace. Down into 1 and 2 once again. The 76 car of Gavin Casey trying to keep Luke Dillon honest. He's the 25-year-old out of Cairns, all the way from Cairns in North Queensland, can you believe? So he's come a long way. He wants to prove that he is a worthy top 2 finisher. Royopeth under the hammer here as they work down into corner number 3. Harding is coming. Looks like something straight out of Mad Max beyond Thunderdome. The way the wings all bent up. So down the back they travel, our race leader. Now acknowledges the white flag for Sprint Auto Parts. His various other sponsors, it looks as though he's going to claim round 1 of the Tucker Time for Pets Kings of Wings series. Around he comes. Come on, Adelaide, put your hands together for him. Luke Dillon has taken it out. Gavin Casey for 2nd, Roy Opeth 3rd, Darryl Wilshire 4th position. Looks as though Trevor Harding will round out the top 5. What was an extraordinary performance from Harding. In behind him, it appeared to be Ian Burrows, speed cars as well. Now he's got the checkered flag. So make sure you give him a big wave as he comes past. The 2-time SA go-kart title holder, whose favourite tracks include Warrnambool, Mount Gambier and Bordertown. Enjoys a bit of a water ski as well. And he's working his way now around turns 3 and 4. I'm sure he'll cruise around nice and slowly just to savour the moment. And he'll pull up down near the presentation area.
And tonight's winner was the starter out of position number 9, Danny Hogan in the 017 Motorola car. So if Danny would like to come forward. And the prize for this is a voucher for $100 from Racetech Race Components. Congratulations, Danny.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank Racetech for the voucher. Adelaide Speedway for putting on a great night, the Victorian Driver Series for a good thing, Motorola for a great sponsorship, Ian's Auto Shop from Goulburn, Peter Campbell from Goulburn, and anyone else. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Danny. Okay, and 3rd across the line in round 1 of the Tucker Time King of Wings Series, New South Wales 62, Roy Opeth. Congratulations, Roy. Great drive.
Thanks very much. Congratulations, Luke. He just was too good, wasn't he?
Absolutely, Roy accepts his trophy from Speedway City Manager Bob Sincock. And 2nd, all the way from Queensland, for Cairns Coconut Caravan Resort, Queensland number 76, Gavin Casey. Congratulations, Gavin. It sort of made the drive worthwhile.
Yeah, I was just happy to finish a good show for once. We normally have a lot of stupid things go wrong. But I just really like to thank my main sponsor, Cairns Coconut Caravan Resort. They are Australia's #1 5-star park, and also my mother and father that travel around and help me out a heck of a lot. Thank you. And also Tucker Time for sponsoring this series, because hopefully this thing will get a bit better and better each year.
Absolutely, get there, Gavin. And the winner at his home track, round 1 of the Tucker Time King of Wings Series, the 17-year-old super child, Luke Dillon. Congratulations, Luke. You've really taken it all before you in South Australian Formula 500 ranks this year.
Yeah, thanks a lot. The car ran great all night. My old man changed a few things for the final, and it looked like it worked really well. I think we were a bit lucky. We broke a chain on the victory lap, and I felt that start to let go with a couple of laps to go, so I was kind of looking for the white flag. But I'd like to thank the Speedway for putting everything on. My old man, Gary, who owns the car and runs the car. Ken Wilshire, who built the car and owns the engine. And that works really well, as everyone can see. Greg Sims, who builds the exhaust pipes. and I think they look to be the best ones out here as well. And Fraser Imports, who supplies our gearbox, and I think that's about all. Precision Race Components. I'd like to thank them as well. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Luke. And of course, on behalf of Plots Lubricants Oils, I would like to present all the first 3 place getters with the 2 litres of Clots Racing Castor Oil, and that's proudly brought to you by the Clots importer Rex Hodgson, and also compliments of Western Autos and Jeff Driven over there. We've got the Pennzoil multi-purpose oil for Luke Dillon as well. So there you have it, the first 3 place getters in round 1 of the Tucker Time King of Wings Formula 500 Series. And we've got the junior sedans on the track, ready to go, John.
Caution lights out. Junior Sedans Christmas Cup feature now well and truly underway. Into 1 and 2 they go. Travis versus Wayne. It's Travis who gains ascendancy here in the early going as they scoot down the back. Now through turns 3 and 4, and he's already out by 3 or 4 car lengths here. Now down the main stretch. Michael Lukic beginning to make his presence felt as he puts some pressure on Wayne for second position. So that could certainly be well worth watching, the run for second and third positions here as they approach the third corner. Around they come again. This time Michael Lukic has a look up the inside of Wayne Fosterus, and I think he's taken him. Brett Brackstone in car number 37 there in 4th position. And then it's back to number 13, Rebecca Gantz. Numero uno, title holder for the moment, has just come around in 20.58 seconds and now has 6.5 laps remaining. Wayne Fosterus in the Whyalla 52 car, now in a disgruntled 3rd position, has watched Michael Lukic roar past him and wouldn't be too happy about it. But Michael in his green machine travelling pretty quickly. Did start a fair way back in the pack, so making his drive all the more meritorious. And can he catch Travis Fisher? That's the big question here. There's only 5 laps for him to do it in. Unless there's a stoppage or maybe Travis gets very untidy, I'm not quite sure whether he can do it from there. Wayne and Michael continue to go at it, hammer and tongs in corner number 3. In fact, Wayne gets a bit of a run at him. Oh, he's flipped it over. Barrel roll twice as Wayne Fosterus. That's the second meeting in succession that a junior sedan has barrel rolled. Let's hope he's okay. Our Women for Wheels and the St. John has certainly brought our leader right back to the pack in Travis Fisher. Number 7 entry, so Michael Lukic will be certainly looking to hunt him down here with 4 laps remaining. In behind them we can see the rest of the pack coming through. The 37 of Brent Brackstone, who started out at 4 and now runs 3. Rebecca Gantz there behind him in 4th position. Then it's Matt Raymond in car number 83 who rounds out the top 5. And it's Travis Fisher in car number 7. Michael Lukic in behind him. Travis Fisher proudly campaigning for Bordertown Truck and Bus, Don's Meats, Woolshed Inn, Tatiara Transport, Fisher's Auto Dismantles of Bordertown. Michael for Luke's Bodyworks, Ampol Glossop, PJ Industrial Rags, O'Halloran Hill Vet Hospital, Sign Factory Glossop, How's Your Hair, Berry and R. Sikorsky Mechanical. He says, taking a couple of breaths. And now as we cast a glance back to our leaders once again, I noticed that there's about 3 or 4 car lengths between them. And the white flag is now on display for Travis Fisher. Lukey doing everything he can, but just doesn't look as though he's got enough in reserve to get by him. Although there seems to be a bit of a problem here for Travis. He has slowed down dramatically coming out of the second corner. So this one really coming to life here. Travis has got the thing down to the pole line. Michael coming at him, but Travis just hangs on. Michael Lukic for second position. Third place, and all over the shop, the 37 car of Brett Brackstone, followed in by the 13 of Rebecca Gantz, the 83 of Matt Raymond, the 25 of Hayley Tyndall, Shannon Reddit in 16. And last but not least would appear to be the 88 car of Ben Tuttle. Now let's see whether our winner takes the checkered flag. It looks as though he's going to. Yeah, he's got it, so warm your hands for him. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Travis Fisher looked as though he was going to romp away with it, but he came back to the pack, did it again on the restart to give each and every one of these drivers the nod to get stuck into it. That's Brian Finlay, who seems to have earned himself a nice pole position here. A good start. Gee, look out. Very untidy one through turn one. And it looks as though they're going to do it all over again here. Let's try all over again here with a reminder of World Series Sprint cars here on Monday. Action from 6 p.m. as we get a start. Let's hope it's a clean green this time as they work their way down in through corners 1 and 2. Oh, Brian Chadwick, high, wide and handsome here. He's been squeezed out wide now and the big charge is coming. Let's try and pick up who it is. The orange car has begun particularly well. Is that Darren Flatman's number 12? I think it is. The Salisbury Dismantlers. It's almost as if he's hit the nitrous oxide button and away he goes. He really is flying here, tucked right in behind Brian Finlay. And we look back to Brian Chadwick in now 4th position. He's trying for an outside pass, I think, on Adams. Adams in 3. So it's the 128 car of Steve Heinrich. He's right up there and battling with this top group at the moment. It's Adams who's beginning to slip back. A little further back it appears as though it's Gibbs in 130. Through comes Heinrich. Here's Gibbs now looking up the inside of Adams. Then it's Maris Velots, Andrew Clayton, Callan Worthley. And the 49 car should be in there somewhere as well. Well, through comes our race leader now with 16 remaining. Oh, Flatman heads for the infield. Very nearly cleaned up our Clark, of course. Oh, he keeps it going. Let's see if he gets back out onto the track. I think he's heading back out for the surface. Yes, he does get back into the fray. And boy, oh boy, Scott McIntosh, very, very lucky boy indeed there. Just goes to show you can never take your eyes off any of these cars, whether it's sprint cars or street stocks. Looks as though Bob Adams is in some trouble in car number 3. I think he's just going to limp onto the infield. That's as far as he'll go. So the action continues here with Brian Finlay working his way down the back. The 128 of Steve Heinrich started out of 7. He's trying to make up some ground here. The push car trying to get in attendance there to the Adams car through turns 3 and 4. They'll chuck him a rope, I think, and try and tow the car out of the way. Our race leader now down into corner number 3. The Falcon looking very good indeed here for Brian Finlay. And he's carving his way through traffic. There's plenty of it. There's Heinrich in second position. Gibbs now probably in 3rd. Battling out at the moment with Brian Chadwick in car number 41. Then Maris Velots behind them in about 5th. Andy Clayton shadowing Maris's every move in 5th or 6th. Probably 6th for Clayton, and he seems to have the momentum advantage here over Velots. Got no choice, they can't do a slower car. Has to go around the outside of him. Bit of unburnt fuel there for Brian Finlay. Just seems to be a few flames as he gets into corner number 3. And again, there it is. But Heinrich certainly keeping him honest. Driving car 128. Brian Chadwick now appears to have the better just for the moment on Gibbs. So they work their way out of 4, driver right in the way. Chadwick forced to take evasive action. And that enables Gibbs to get back ahead of him. Lotz and Clayton continue their scrap. It's been pretty well a race-long duel. And now the caution lights have come on with 9 laps up on the scoreboard. Eric sitting right on the rear bumper of Finlay here as they work their way down to the orange cone. And now they're back onto the pedal. 9 racing laps here of Speedway City remaining. Anthony Gibbs in 130 will be trying to make a break for it here. Maris Verlotz in 48, Andy Clayton, Brian Chadwick right in behind them, and looks as though the 49, the Neil Wesley Falcon, has got beneath Chadwick. Darren Flappman's gone with him. 19.23 seconds. The track is a good one and the pace is a very quick one here for this street stock shootout feature. Heinrich a little bit taily going into turn number 3. He's really pulling out all the stops here to try and catch Brian Finlay and overhaul him. Anthony Gibbs in his Falcon. Car 130, very sideways himself through corner 1. Brian Chadwick and the Neil Wesley Falcon fairly close. Clayton in behind them, then Flappman up ahead of them, clear by about 5 or 6 car lengths is Maris Verlotz. Maris currently in what looks to be 4th position. So when the bunch come around this time through, there should be exactly 5 laps remaining. Brian Finlay, Steve Heinrich in car 128. Heap of dust there, one car trying to get back out onto the track. Gibbs should still be in there, driving car number 130. And it's Maris Verlotz holding down 4th position. Brian Chadwick in 5th. 6th place being disputed between the 49 car and the 8 entry. Right in behind them, Darren Flappman in car number 12, who started so brilliantly. Well, Brian Finlay now into heavy lap traffic. Steve Heinrich will be hoping for a bit of a break here. He gets to the inside, might have been helped out a little with those 2 slower cars. There's still about 4 or 5 car lengths between them. He really needs to act on his instincts here, Brian Finlay. There's traffic and plenty of it ahead. Just needs to pick his way through them and hope that he has an ounce of luck on his side. He goes to the inside of one of the back markers. Heinrich continues to pursue him. It's down now to a length or 2. Out of turn 4 they travel. Now back down into 1. And Finlay now has a clear patch. Gibbs is there in 3rd. Maris Verlotz and Brian Chadwick now disputing 4th position. It's resolved in Chadwick's favour for the moment. Oh, turn 4, there's a bit of action here. A couple of slower cars sideways, but it won't stop Finlay. I think he just got there over Steve Heinrich. Then Anthony Gibbs. Brian Chadwick for 4th, 5th position to Maris Verlotz, 6th place Andy Clayton, 7th Darren Flappman. Then it's back to Neil Wesley's 49 car, the Orange Falcon, from Sloan in car number 16. That's Darryl Sloan. It's pretty well as far as I'm game to go with it. 352 6666, a 24-hour service. The tractor and forklift transportation, heavy salvage and recovery. They're based at 326 South Road, Richmond. Crash all suburbs towing. Adelaide Sign Shop, Reservoir Radiators, Salisbury Wreckers, S&B Auto Electrical, and McLeod Tyres. Give him a round of applause. He comes down in front of us and drops the checkered flag off. Well done, Brian Finlay. Top performance. Green in the hand here of Scotty McIntosh. It's worth 10 on the track as they come out of 4 and get ready to rocket through the first couple of turns. Ripper of a start for Anthony Gibbs driving the Falcon, car 130. He should exit the second corner as the race leader, and that's exactly what happens. Well done, Gibbsy. Top manoeuvre. Now it looks as though the 49 car, the Neil Wesley Falcon's also beginning to move through the field. Looking for an outside pass on Peter Gillette here. We've got Steve Heinrich in pursuit. Behind them, the City Dismantlers car of Maris Velots beginning to move up a little bit. Andrew Clayton in behind them. Then it's Brian Finlay and Darren Flapman. Peter Taylor and Callan Worthley. But doing it well in front is Anthony Gibbs in 130 after getting such a great start. Bit of a squeeze going on here for positions 4, 5, 6 and 7. Andrew Clayton beginning to muscle his way through the pack. He's up now into 4th. Obviously he was just letting the car cool a fraction longer. I mentioned he wouldn't be a starter, but he's definitely out there, travelling pretty well in 4th position. Our feature race winner, Brian Finlay, beginning to pick his way through the traffic, doing it tough out of position 10. He's attempting to get up into 5th position now. I think he's got it as they come out of turn 4 down the main chute. Yes, he has. He's got past Chris Windsor. Darren Flapman now attempting a similar thing. Peter Taylor in behind them to left, then Maris Velots and Callan Worthley, who continues to tail out the field. 19.54 seconds. The 130 of Anthony Gibbs, really hot to trot in this particular race. He was fired up. He knew that he'd have to make a good start, that many of the more experienced and quicker campaigners will be trying to attack him from all angles, so he decided that the best method of defence was to attack. That's precisely what he did at the drop of the green. Heinrich in behind him, looks as though he's going to finish second once again here. Down they go into 1 and 2. There's Heinrich on 128. There's Andrew Clayton in car number 8. Brian Finlay. Then the 49 of Neil Wesley. The 12 of Darren Flapman. And Peter Taylor, Chris Windsor. Maris Velots just cruising around fairly sedately. Obviously something must have gone off within the Commodore. It's Gibbs driving 130, who looks set to take out this Holden versus Ford battle. The 24th event on the program. Certainly pushed a lot of them through tonight. The white is now out. Steve Heinrich in car 128 appears set for second. Andy Clayton, if he can hang on against the Falcon of Brian Finlay, should get third here. Neil Wesley in behind them, rounding out the 5. But folks, it's checkered flag time. And coming around to take it out, looks as though it's going to be the 130 of Anthony Gibbs. Steve Heinrich in for second position. Andy Clayton just hangs on for third from Brian Finlay 4th. Neil Wesley into 5th position. Peter Taylor into 6th. 7th place should be to Peter Gillette from Chris Windsor in behind him. Then Maris Velots driving car number 48. And Darren Flapman in car number 12. Well, that'll do it for the evening. We'd certainly like to thank you all very much for coming out. Until Monday evening, when we've got World Series sprint cars here at this venue. It's been John Cobby on behalf of Lee Hanishek and Speedway City Management. Take it.